Today we're going to be doing a video on Mr. Beast's new show, which I haven't seen, but I have heard advertisements for. We're going to be watching a video from Tom Dark, who I've actually been watching a lot recently. He's a very good YouTuber. You should definitely check him out. Definitely subscribe to his channel. For YouTube, by the way, I don't know what's going to be in this video. I don't know if there's going to be allegations made. If there is, I just want to say everything is alleged, probably, maybe, I don't know. All I know is that the title is Mr. Beast's new show, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And yeah, I kind of want to watch it because it's about Mr. Beast, and Mr. Beast is very popular. So without further ado, let's get straight into it.
Hi, my name is Tom, and today we're going to talk about Beast Games, which coincidentally is also the name of the game I play with my subscribers when I chase them through the woods naked on all fours. The status of the Mr. Beast brand really speaks for itself at this point. It's a universal fact that he is a titan of the YouTube industry and has truly transcended the label of just being a YouTuber into really becoming kind of a worldwide phenomenon in a way that almost no one's done on YouTube.
Okay, I just want to say this. I never really got into Mr. Beast that much. Like, I never watched Mr. Beast as much as other people did. I don't know, I find his content interesting when I do watch it, but it's, like, only certain videos, and I never, like, really got into Mr. Beast as a creator, unless there's controversy, because, I always gotta soak up that controversy, but besides that, I have no real clue as his upbringing or anything like that.
For some younger viewers, and even for me, who has been around since he started doing YouTube and was watching YouTube a lot before that, it's kind of hard to remember what it was like to be on this website before Mr. Beast. And for a lot of people, all that they know about YouTube is Mr. Beast. They almost see it as like YouTube is a TV channel, and there's Mr. Beast, and then a bunch of children's content and gay. In a way, Mr. Beast is like the final form in a line of YouTuber eugenics. And
I don't know if I grew up in that age, because I grew up in the age of, like, PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, Markiplier. Like, hold on, this is something I should probably I'll look up right now. When did Mr. Beast start doing YouTube? When did Mr. Beast start YouTube? 2012. Yeah, when did Corey X Kenshin die? He didn't die. Start YouTube. Yeah, 3 years before then. I mean, I didn't watch Corey when he was, like, just beginning, but I feel like a lot of the YouTubers that I did watch were probably before that time.
I think there's no better way to illustrate this than with the history of YouTuber TV shows. YouTube stars of old, like Fred or The Annoying Orange, would often get—
Oh god, The Annoying Orange. I don't know a lot of, like, Fred, I don't know who that is, but The Annoying Orange, I've always known what that is.
Get their own YouTube shows, and they were not the greatest, to say the least. I mean, personally, I do like seeing Fred get suplexed by John Cena, but for the average movie watcher, this is not their cup of tea. And this quality was really a symptom of the type of content that the largest YouTubers of the time were making. Because back then, not every video was like 3 hours long, not every video had a massive budget. Instead, at the time, it was like some kid in his bedroom making a video. They were all homemade. So when those channels blew up and Hollywood smelled money, it was very hard.
That's facts. When, like, bro, you just see so many videos on YouTube, especially of old people, too. Not just, like, young people, but old people who are just doing their own thing. It's just, like, the most random video ever.
Hard to transform their content into a full-on TV show, or, in the case of Fred, 3 movies. On top of that, at the time, YouTubers were pretty uncensored compared to mainstream TV, so it became increasingly hard for network executives to want to greenlight anything when a YouTuber was involved.
I like to make my eyes all Japanese-y.
Yeah, old YouTubers like that did not age well at all. It was right. Aged like old, well, not old milk, just aged like milk, bro. Oh my god. Same thing with, like, whatever that chick's name is that was playing the violin, and then, like, Shane Dawson, like, those people.
With PewDiePie probably being the best example. In my opinion, Felix did get his show unfairly canceled, but Hollywood doesn't really care if it's fair or real or not. They care about public backlash and risk.
Didn't Markiplier also get his own show? I think he did.
And with PewDiePie,
Didn't he get multiple shows, or were they movies? I forgot.
they really learned their lesson. But then in comes Mr. Beast, and the whole game has really changed. Rising up from the eugenics pod after all of the failed abortion YouTubers, and his rise was crazy. It was meteoric, to say the least. In under 10 years, he went from being unknown, nobody knew who he was, to amassing 300 million subscribers. He launched a burger chain, he created a chocolate brand, and whatever you think about those endeavors, you can't deny that he did do them, and they were successful to an extent. They did make a lot of money. They're very popular. Feastables is still on the shelves to this day. The burgers, not so much.
Wow. If you don't say that tastes amazing, you're an idiot.
And then, following the success of
Yeah, I remember the Mr. Beast burgers. Dude, like, whenever there's like a food item that's based around a certain like celebrity or someone who's popular, they always go so crazy over it. They find that funny.
all of that, he finally managed to rival TV show productions. For example, he recreated Squid Game with a budget of $3.5 million for one single YouTube video, which at the time I think
God dang. Holy crap. I mean, that's
was
impressive.
probably the highest budget for any YouTube video ever. And that video then got 650 million views, which far surpasses the viewership of any TV show in recent years. And the format of these reality TV show style challenge videos really gave way to the opportunity of adaptation for turning it into an entire series, because this content was already operating in that realm. It's basically a TV show. If any YouTuber was perfect to have a TV show, it would have to be Mr. Beast. For traditional mainstream network, legacy media, whatever you want to call it, he represented a great opportunity. And on March 18th, 2024, Jimmy announced that he had secured a $100 million deal with Amazon Studios. Funding that he secured.
Oh, you know, I kind of forgot that this is all about his TV show. Is it weird that I just forgot that this is all about his TV show? I thought this was like just a documentary on Mr. Beast. But yeah, no, he got his own TV show, and then I guess that's why it's a good segue though. It's a good segue into that. I'll say that for sure.
The hopes that he would be able to produce a reality TV television series titled Beast Games for Amazon Prime Video. And that $100 million really represented an unprecedented milestone for a YouTuber, reinforcing the idea that digital content creators are just as legitimate, if not more legitimate, than those who are coming out of traditional media. And for the show, he had big plans. This new project was touted as the most ambitious game show ever. In the trailer itself, Jimmy says that the prize pool of $5 million is unprecedented, and according to everything I can read, it is, and it does look pretty insane.
I am standing on $5 million, the grand prize of the most insane competition show you've ever seen. And competing for it are these 1,000 contestants. Are you all ready?
Was this the show that like a lot of people were complaining they were getting hurt in and like bullied in? I have no one to ask chat, but like for everyone, well, I'm probably gonna also realize this, but you know, just act like you're talking to me now in the YouTube comments. Is this that game? Because I heard about that a while ago. There was like a bunch of people complaining, and they were like, the conditions are horrible, blah blah blah. Like, you know, there's barely any like accommodations. Is that like this game show, or is that just like another one of Mr. Beast's videos? I can't remember.
Start the timer!
In an interview conducted by Business Insider, the head of Amazon's MGM Studios expressed her excitement at what Jimmy had to offer. "We really need a hit," one Amazon insider said, so they just let him do whatever, meaning he had full creative control. Everything looked like it was going great, and this was going to be an easy slam dunk Beast style, but then the problems started cropping up. 2024 has been an absolutely insane year for controversies, so it may be hard to remember that Beast Games was actually announced before Jimmy Beast got wrapped up in all the controversies of the past few months. When the show was first announced, people seemed very, very hyped about it. They were generally supportive, but it didn't take long for that sentiment to start changing. In July, Dogpack 404, or Dawson French, would release his first in a series of videos exposing Mr. Beast. The details of these videos aren't that important for this video, and there were a lot of claims made in these videos, the majority of which have since been largely disproven, but the details don't actually matter for today's story. So if you somehow have managed to avoid this entire situation with the Mr. Beast controversies and you're watching this video, all you really need to know is that these videos got a ton of views and they painted Jimmy in a very, very bad light.
Yeah, I heard about those. The Meat Canyon version, Jimmy. I heard about those videos. I never watched them because, like, although yeah, controversy's interesting, I don't know. I think controversy kind of springs up because people try to people idolize people in some way, and people like think of these people as like way bigger and way greater than they are. I mean, Mr. Beast is a really great guy. Don't get me wrong. But like, he's not perfect. Obviously, he has problems. Yo, what's up tonight? So like, obviously, Mr. Beast isn't gonna be like perfect. He's gonna be perfect. So if he does stuff wrong, although I've heard a lot of weird, sketchy stuff. Allegedly, Mr. Beast, Mr. Jimmy, don't come after me. That there's been some like crypto allegations and stuff like that. I don't know. When you're as big of a figure as Mr. Beast is, it's kind of hard to tiptoe around that stuff. The part-time streamer streaming, and actually, for your information, my New Year's resolution, focus camera, is to stream every single day. Unless I'm like going to Ohio or something, and even then I might try to stream from my phone. Also, I look like ass. I don't know if it's the lighting or it's just I have like bags in my eyes. Anyway, continuing the video.
What they did do a very good job of was shifting the public perspective for a lot of people who are very into the YouTube culture to not being in favor of Jimmy Beast. Before these videos dropped, Jimmy was seen as the golden boy of YouTube that could do no wrong. He couldn't even be criticized. So when Dogpack made this video, it kind of started a domino effect of people coming out and adding more allegations. Now that the general public realized that, oh, Mr. Beast is a real person. He can be criticized. He's not an infallible golden boy.
Exactly. Like, that's what I just said, bro. People think of Mr. Beast as, like, this high and mighty, and, like, yeah, he's a really good guy, he has a lot of money, but, like, that doesn't mean anything. They're all fake. I don't think they were all fake. I just think that, hold on, can I, like, turn the brightness? My God, bro. I'm, like, fucking lighting up. I don't think all of them were fake. I just think majority of like the big criticisms that he got, those were fake. Dogpack made most of them up. Yeah, he did make most of them up. That's what I heard.
But at the same time as this controversy was flaring up and these videos were coming out, Beast Games was currently being filmed. Mr. Beast and his company and Amazon, whoever it is, had rented out a massive stadium for his show, and over 2,000 people were going to be contestants in the very first episode. It was one of the biggest productions that had ever been done in the history of anything, literally ever. But while they were filming, something weird started happening. We started getting some weird reports, some weird posts. A bunch of tweets started appearing of the contestants showing them wearing trash bags, and rumors.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. See, I do remember this, where a bunch of the contestants were, like, in bad conditions. How long was that like 5 months ago? How long ago was that?
Rumors started floating around from tabloids that the conditions were maybe less than ideal. In a concerning twist to the story, a source claims Desert Springs Hospital has seen countless patients today coming from Beast Games due to a lack of food and water. We have reached out to Mr. Beast and his publicist about the situation, but no further information is available at this time. And with all these claims coming out, it wouldn't be long before a more mainstream source decided to take notice, and that source ended up being the New York Times. They published a scathing article.
Although I feel like the New York Times posts on a lot of stuff that's like you wouldn't think would be mainstream. Willing to die for Mr. Beast and 5 million. The contestants in the internet star Beast Game expected outlandish challenges and signed contracts that acknowledge serious risk of injury and death. Still, few were prepared for the conditions on set. Death? I mean, yeah, you could die doing anything. I mean, especially if it's like games, like even the Squid Games, you could probably die doing that, but still.
Article titled "Willing to Die for Mr. Beast and $5 Million." The contestants in the internet star's Beast injury and all to add on top of few were prepared for the conditions on set. This article was.
I always hate when that happens, when you read something and the person that you're watching reads it. I mean, it only happens really when like you're reacting to something.
A big bombshell to add on top of the recently released Dogpack video, and they did not hold back. In the article, the New York Times basically describes the production of this show as a war zone. Some contestants left the competition arena on stretchers. A contestant said, though it was unclear if any of those contestants had faced serious medical conditions. Another described watching fellow contestants vomiting and appearing to pass out. There were several hospitalizations. Several contestants also said that they had not been warned about how little they would be given to eat and how infrequently. They described going long stretches without being fed by the production. One said she had gone over 20 hours, both during the games and
see, but like I can't say if this is true or not, because like the issue is that people will make up a bunch of stuff just to be haters.
After filming. One meal, described by several contestants, included a tiny portion of cold oatmeal, one hard-boiled egg, and a few pieces of raw vegetables. This video is a tiny portion of cold oatmeal
one hard-boiled egg and a piece of raw vegetables. See, like, this is where I'm like, why it's so specific, and it's like, why this? Like, a tiny portion of cold oatmeal. One hot, not regular egg, not scrambled, not over easy, hard boiled, and a few pieces of raw vegetables. Like, it's so specific and weird that it makes me think it's fake, and people are just saying it because they don't like Mr. Beast. I'm assuming you said, oh, that's malnutrition. I mean, yeah, if that's true, it's malnutrition, but like, why would they be giving them like this specific meal? You know, they didn't even get a leche for real. Okay, they didn't even get like a prime or nothing.
Oatmeal, one hard
Which that would definitely be malnutrition because I ain't eating that.
boiled egg, and a few pieces of raw vegetables. This video is sponsored by Gamersupps.
Sorry man, I gotta skip the sponsor, but you know, I don't have any sponsor with Gamersupps, but go check them out because I've heard they're really good. I don't drink caffeine that much though. So...
Embarrassing. All right, now back to the video. Obviously,
but you can still sponsor me. I know that makes 0 sense, but
when you're competing for $5 million, you shouldn't expect a 5-star meal, but it is understandably concerning if some of these people literally just weren't eating anything, or in some people's cases, they had dietary restrictions that weren't being followed. Some of these guys could have touched a peanut once and turned into Chris Tyson.
I used to get pegged a couple of times when I was a kid.
wait, what did he just say? He used to get what?
To Chris Tyson.
I used to get pegged a couple of times.
Bagged? What does bagged mean? Like someone put a bag over his head? What does that mean?
When I was a kid. You what?
But this
I don't even want to turn on closed captions.
problem with the food was really the least of the alleged problems, as a few contestants needed medications that they allege were not given to them. Several contestants said they had not received their medication on time, including one contestant who needed insulin, instead receiving it hours or even days after their scheduled dosing times. This got so bad that allegedly 2 contestants had seizures from this apparent lack of care. There were also some other women that alleged they were menstruating. The menstruating...
See, I feel like, but then there would be lawsuits. Like, if this was true, because that's the thing, right? If this was true, and Mr. Beast, like, just didn't, and, like, I mean, I guess you can't sue Mr. Beast if it's his crew, but, like, think about it like this. If he is orchestrating all of this, and he's not giving these people the medical needs and care that they need, then it's his fault. And if I have a seizure, I need to go to the hospital because you didn't provide enough care for me. Oh, stream's going to lag again. Then couldn't I just be like, I'm going to sue you because you didn't take care of me enough? Doesn't matter? What doesn't matter? I mean, I could be wrong. You know, I'm not a law expert. But I feel like you would get in some sort of... Maybe he did. I don't know. I didn't follow the situation that much because it's all hearsay. You know, might not even real. If you won't give any medication, you can sue them. Yeah, I like, if you have the ability to, unless it's, like, signed in the contract, but I feel like they wouldn't sign that.
Allegations, and their claim is basically, you know, they're going through this time of the month, and they were denied clean underwear and feminine hygiene products by production because, in their words, it was not an emergency. Others claimed that they were severely injured and were not compensated well enough. Overall,
I mean, hell, if I'm going for $5 million, I don't care if I dookie my pants. I'm gonna keep going, bro. I'm gonna keep going. $5 million? $5 million? I could look like Squidward when he was homeless, and I would still be going. I don't care.
all this didn't look very good for our boy Beast. And it would even get worse a few months later in September when a class action lawsuit was filed from 5 anonymous contestants. This lawsuit made even more allegations that were even more serious than the ones from the New York Times.
Okay, sexual harassment and chronic mistreatment. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that, in my humble opinion, that's cap. That's cap, that's cap, that's cap. Guaranteed they're like, oh, they're taking these allegations seriously. Well, what if we bump it up a bit, you know, and they accuse him of, like, his team of sexual harassment? I mean, like, I'm not gonna say it couldn't have happened, but like I don't know. There's just a lot of people who claim sexual harassment and are only doing it because it gets them big bucks if they win the lawsuit. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if you claim something like that and you're found wrong, you should serve prison time. Because that's like an allegation that can ruin someone's life. And I feel like you need a little, you know, a little punch in the stomach, a little stab in the ribs, a little ripping of the teeth in order to show you that you shouldn't do that.
Article, the complaint alleged that the Beast Games
Why is bro stream laggy? No, it's not. It came back, bro. What are you talking about?
contestants experienced widespread mistreatment, sexual harassment, and unpaid expenses and wages, including not being paid at all and not being paid for overtime. The complaint alleged 13 causes of action: failure to pay minimum wage, failure to pay overtime wages, sexual harassment, negligent infliction of emotional distress, failure to prevent harassment, failure to provide uninterrupted meal breaks, unfair business practices. Now, keep in mind this lawsuit is ongoing and everything here is alleged, so we have no idea how true all of it is. It technically could be made up. And exactly how much of it is true and how much of it is fake is something we won't even know for a while, because the legal process takes quite a bit of time. Jimmy and his team would be relatively quiet about the lawsuit, though, obviously, and only make small comments here and there, at least until the end of November, when Jimmy would get interviewed by Oompaville to address all of his controversy.
Yo, goat right there. Oompaville, he's a goat, bro. That's all I gotta say.
At the tail end of it.
I didn't watch the video. I probably should. But I'm just saying, Oompaville's a goat, bro.
Everything. Now, he does make it clear that he apparently can't say too much about the lawsuit specifically because it's still ongoing, but what he can say is that the CrowdStrike incident heavily contributed to this happening. For those who don't know, basically CrowdStrike is this massive cybersecurity firm that controls software everywhere, and they sent out an update that basically crashed every vital software system throughout the country. So stuff like airports just had to be shut down and delayed while they fixed it because this one company slipped on a banana peel.
That created a lot of confusion, and that caused a lot of problems in our systems, and that was pretty brutal. And they're like, so I'm not trying to just like disavow everything, like, you know what I mean?
In regards to the idea of some people being unpaid, Jimmy simply states that they told everyone before they came that there was no guaranteed money, but he did say he wanted to surprise everyone anyway and guaranteed them all $2,000 even if they walked away from the competition.
This is the damned if you do, damned if you don't. So we told everyone, no guaranteed money if you show up. I'm glad you asked this. No guaranteed money if you show up. Like, you could walk away with $0. But then I wanted to surprise everyone. Gave them each $2,000, $4 million, which it's a lot of money. I could have gone and just bought a mansion instead of doing that. But what's even crazier is then people tried to, not like the contestants, but the internet, you know, their theories, tried to frame that as hush money. Like I gave them all $2,000 to like make them happy because we didn't tell them beforehand, like to surprise them as they got eliminated. And then people are like, you just did that because of hush money. And I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, I also...
Yeah, that seems like why would he even need to give them hush money? You know, and my $2,000. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I mean, I could see that theory being valid somewhat, but like, hush money for what? Like, if you're being told, like, yeah, there's no guarantee you're gonna come in and get money, even if you place really high, you should expect not to get money if you place really high, and then be like, yeah, I lost. That sucks. At least I got, you know, $2,000 for it.
Didn't give them like legal paperwork tied with it, like that says it was just like completely baseless. It just shows like how crazy people go with the conspiracy theories and everything like that.
Overall, this section of the interview from Oompaville is pretty underwhelming, but obviously that's not anyone's fault. It's really because there's an ongoing lawsuit here, so it's impossible to address the more serious claims until there's any conclusion. James Beast would follow this up, though, with a small statement on Twitter, where he said, "We have tons of behind-the-scenes dropping when the show does to show how blown out of proportion these claims were. Just can't release it now because it would spoil the games." After this interview, any talk of the Beast Games controversy largely went silent and under the radar, as people pretty much were just waiting for the show to drop. And on December 19th, 2024, the first episode would release simultaneously on YouTube and on Amazon Prime Video. Now, the very same day that this show dropped, it blew up like almost immediately right out of the gate, and it seems like an immediate hit, at least according to Mr. Beast. Literally 24 hours after it came out, it hit #1 on Amazon Prime in the US, and then a day later, it reached #1 in literally half the countries in the world. Some people on Twitter would respond to these stats.
I mean, I feel like just because it's like it reaches #1 doesn't mean that it's the best. Because, like, being popular and then being, like, something of quality, not saying that it's bad, I assume it's probably, you know, pretty entertaining to watch. But, like, I don't know, damn. See, that just shows how much motion Jimmy got, bro. Jimmy got so much motion, bro. Damn near half the countries in the world were like, I want to watch this show.
And claim that Amazon doesn't publicly release their stats, but I think with the lawsuit that Jimmy's already swept up in, I assume he doesn't want to lie about this, and also he is working with Amazon, so to give him the benefit of the doubt here, he probably wouldn't know if it's #1 or not. But despite the minor complaints, it looks like this grand YouTube eugenics program had finally paid off, and Mr. Beast would be the first mainstream TV show by a YouTuber that wasn't actually a total flop. It only took a decade, but we finally did it, folks. We did YouTube on TV. They even got commercials at an NFL game.
From YouTube megastar Mr. Beast comes the most insane competition series ever made. 1,000 players will battle for a $5 million prize. Don't miss Beast.
I mean, that is probably the craziest one if you think about it, because like Beast Games, like just thinking about how big that's gotta be. $5 million. Like I'm trying to think, like what? Like you get, like think about like the, what was it called, like something to be a millionaire. It's $1 million. It's 5 times that. $5 million. Like what? I can't think of any like show that I've watched that's been like, yeah, you get that much money. 5 million. Oof. I mean, obviously, I think there's games out there that give you more money if you win. Like gambling, I guess. But, like, that's crazy to think about. 5 million, 1,000 people. I don't know. Like, I might watch it, actually. It seems, you know, everything seems to be going good so far.
Games, new episode weekly only on Prime Video. And there is Mr. Beast himself, Jimmy Donaldson from North Carolina, gearing up for the
Is that Jinxie? What? What? Wait. Breakfast Jinxie, man. Wait. Hold on. Okay, I think I know who that guy is. I just randomly noticed that Jinxie was there.
Guys, don't miss Beast Games, new episode weekly only on Prime
Okay, I don't know. I think I might know who that guy is.
Video. And there is Mr. Beast himself.
That's Sketch, and that's Jinxie. These are the only 3 people I know. Mr. Beast, Jinxie, and Sketch.
Jimmy Donaldson.
Oh no, he's a part of like the Mr. Beast team. Oh, actually, I think all of them are. He is. I think he is too.
North Carolina, gearing up for the 2-episode premiere.
But of course, raw numbers and hits are an
Wait, why was Jinxie there? Why was Jinxie there? Is he like a part of like the Mr. Beast? Is he like a contestant? Is he like a part of the Mr. Beast universe now? That was so random. What? Maybe he just got to, like to meet Mr. Beast. I don't know. That was kind of funny.
everything. Eventually, the critics would weigh in, and weigh in they did. IGN gave this show a 2 out of 10, saying it's largely dull and without much of anything to get invested in, relying on constantly shouting at us about the stakes while frenetic editing slices everything to pieces. It's about what you'd expect from an ever-hustling spectacle merchant like Mr. Beast, but that only makes it all the more exhausting to take in. The Guardian, meanwhile, said it exists solely to show us the worst of the human condition as obnoxiously as possible. In other words, it probably wasn't worth getting sued for. Meanwhile, Colin and Samir, which is a channel that's interviewed and documented the behind the scenes on Mr. Beast for a while now, released a video just a few days ago to coincide with the release of the TV show, showing the utter chaos that was the behind the scenes. The amount of money, the coordination and manpower that went into making this show is almost impossible for me personally to comprehend. This entire behind the scenes thing shows a ton of people working on this show. I mean, it's like rooms of fucking people. You got writers, production designers, you've got architects building the sets. They've got literally everything. There's these like narrative guys, these narrative MFs, as the kids say, and they have a separate monitor for each of the 2,000 contestants, and they have this insane setup to indicate if one of the separate monitor for each of the 2,000 contestants.
They have a different monitor for each of them?
And they have this insane setup to indicate if one of the contestants would be good in the grand story they're trying to tell, to like focus on.
And then we've mapped out like where they are on our quadrant. So green is like something unique about them.
Reds are alphas.
I really love
Damn, that's a lot. That's a lot to put into this show, bro.
that they tag people with who is like the alpha. I just think that's so cool. That's the alpha, but this guy's the beta. Susie over here, 9 years old, beta. But James Dongi,
Yeah, 9-year-old little Susie over here is a little beta. She can't get anything right. Failed the last 2 games. Can't do nothing. Whereas Jimmy over here works a 9-to-5 construction job. Yeah, he's an alpha. Yeah. Yeah, little Susie can't compete. She should just quit now. Like, what? Probably have, yeah, I'm pretty sure they do have kids playing this game. Yeah, 95-year-old Robert. He's not even a beta. He can't do nothing. Matter of fact, we had to stretch him out. He had a heart attack.
Alpha. They are scientifically categorizing who objectively is the Sigma male. And this mini doc also paints a more sympathetic light for Jimmy in regards to how massive of a feat this was to pull off. I mean, nothing like this has been done in the history of entertainment at this scale, so even without all of the road bumps along the way, as far as the production stuff seemingly that went on, allegedly according to various sources, this would have been a ludicrously hard thing to get perfect, so there's a lot going into it. Now, there are a lot of other articles that make it seem like the production was totally lazy or they weren't doing their best because they wanted to cut costs and save money, and that's why there were all these issues. But this video's perspective is kind of the opposite. I will say the one thing I am walking away from this with is the fact that anyone who's saying that Jimmy Beast didn't put a massive amount of effort into ensuring this went well is completely delusional, because
Yeah, I mean, this seems like it just... I feel like it's just going to be a case of, like, he put a lot of effort into it, but it's, like, maybe not a concept, but just, like... I don't know, because I've always thought of, like, Mr. Beast, his content, as something, like, only a certain age group would consume. You know, like, not children, but, like, younger people. I say that, you know, as if I'm not technically a younger person, right? I'm still in my teens, right? Because, like, 17, 18, 19, technically you're still in your teens. And, like, I get it that maybe people wouldn't... I mean, but people still watched it, it's just they didn't rate it good. I don't know. I mean, but you can watch, like, childish content and not like it, but still, you've watched it.
because there's so much going on here.
So the power has gone out in the hangars due to the storm. Production has been stopped for safety. Storm is causing some problems. Definitely causing some problems.
There's even this one part when Jimmy is like sitting in a chair lamenting about how he feels like the entire world hates him and thinks that he's evil.
I gotta figure out what we're doing. So many people just think, I don't know. Do you think I'm evil?
No, I don't think you're evil. I think you're different. But I don't think you're evil. You're one of the more unique humans I've ever met. But I don't think you're evil.
I got one person.
One really interesting part is actually when he sits down.
I don't think, okay, I think every person has the capability to be evil. I don't think Mr. Beast is evil. I think there's a lot of rumors circulating around him that could be like you could make a lot of theories that it's like, yeah, Mr. Beast doesn't have the best intentions, or Mr. Beast does this, this, and that, right? Or Mr. Beast pushes the wrong kind of, like, whatever onto kids and whatnot. Which, like, I think some of those theories have a basis and maybe have reasonings to explain them. But I think the main problem lies in the fact that I think a lot of it's also just overthinking it, you know? Like, Mr. Beast's branding, like, I don't think he thinks, like, oh, Mr. Beast is, like, a demonic thing. Like, I don't think he thinks that far. He's a smart guy, but I don't think he's like, yeah, that's why I made Mr. Beast. Because there's, like, theories about that. And then, like, what he pushes onto kids, which is, I mean, just fun content, which he doesn't really even push onto kids specifically, because a bunch of adults watch him. Everyone watches him, apparently. I don't watch him as much as a lot of other people do, but, I mean, I have watched a lot of his videos, and I can say that he makes good content. I don't know. I don't think he's a bad guy. I mean, he's done a bunch of good stuff, which, like, yeah, you could do good stuff that doesn't make you inherently good. But even if he is, well, I mean, I can't say he's a bad guy. I think what I can say is this. I think we're all bad guys, but I think Jimmy is doing good things, right? Like, I think Jimmy is making a good impact on the world. I will say, like, in terms of YouTube content, maybe not, but, like, that's not his fault, you know? That's just people who copy. which people like that have always existed since the dawn of time. So it's not even, again, not his fault. But I don't know. I don't think Jimmy's a bad guy. I just think maybe maybe his ideas just don't hit the mark, and then people like take it out of proportion. I think another thing is this. I think Mr. Beast is also held in such a high position that when he does something wrong, people think of it as like this big travesty and that he's such a bad guy. And it's the same thing with like politicians, right? Like, this is more of a political example, which if you don't like that, that's fine. I think like the reason people blow stuff up, like when Donald Trump does something bad, is because I think a lot of people hold him to a certain standard, and when he doesn't meet that standard, or he does something that's like wrong in the eyes of the public, it's not like actually like as bad as people blow it up to be, but because he's so popular and because people expect a bunch of him, they blow it up, which is why when Joe Biden does something wrong, people don't really care at all because he's a dimension-ridden potato, so people kind of expect him to do goofy stuff. So yeah, I think it's like the same thing with Mr. Beast, but a lot of people expect Mr. Beast to be this high and mighty person. I don't think you should think anyone's like as high and mighty as you think they are, because we're all just people. We all make mistakes.
Down with some of the contestants for like a Q&A type thing, and to ask if they had any concerns about any of it, and he addressed the controversy again when he was asked about it.
I have a question. It might be controversial, but are you okay with all the articles and stuff that was coming out? She was lying, but I was just asking, like, are you okay?
Well, obviously there was a lot of things not true. Like they're saying there's broken bones. They're saying we're paying people hush money.
We agree.
I mean, what did you think about the articles?
I mean, I thought first off, we're not gonna say nothing, no way. And two, I just thought it was really ridiculous.
It was disappointing for sure, because we knew that wasn't the case.
Right. Yeah.
The perspective, the narrative from this video by Colin and Samir is very much, at least from the people they filmed, that the controversy around the games was completely overblown, that there weren't broken bones, that there weren't all these medical issues, and that basically things mostly went well. And with 2,000 people there, it's certainly believable that some of them could be lying, but it's also believable that a few of them at least could be telling the truth about what happened there. I think that whether or not you want to blame Mr. Beast, or you want to blame the contestants, or if you even give a right, I think that you can't deny that there definitely, with 2,000 people in one place, is going to be a myriad of issues. There's going to be a lot of problems. Now, other famous Mr. Beast non-enjoyers would also react to the Beast Game's success in a very negative way. Rosanna Pansino, for example, would tweet out, "The pick-me-girl energy from Jimmy here is insane. The original is better than the uninspired knockoffs."
I mean, I wouldn't say that he's making a knockoff of Squid Games. Okay, hold on. That's actually just a brain rot take. To say that what Jimmy made was a knockoff of Squid Games, you could say Squid Games is a knockoff of a bunch of other game shows. Like, game shows exist where you put yourself in, like, danger. Like, Fear Factor. Like, they had to basically, like, lay down in a box full of roaches and scorpions. You don't think... And snakes. Like, I wouldn't say that Squid Games is the one that started it all. I'm gonna keep it real. I never watched Squid Games. But that was probably because I didn't have Netflix at the time, because me and my mom did not like Netflix for all the weird stuff they were doing. And also because it's still kind of just bad. The only reason we have Netflix is because I like to watch Dan to Dan and some other shows that are good. Which, real quick side rant, Netflix. Netflix is one of those shows where you only get it because there are specific series on it. Like, the only reason I'd ever get Netflix, like, in the past is because it has shows like Inside Job, Cyberpunk, Edge Runners, there's a couple other shows that I want to watch on there. And then, like, shows like Dan to Dan. And you could be like, oh, just get Crunchyroll for most of those. 99% of the anime that are on Crunchyroll I don't want to watch, okay? I genuinely rather just get Netflix. You know what I mean? I'd rather just get Netflix at that point. I had to figure out a way for my camera to just, like, continue focusing.
Keep in mind, this is the same person who made a video literally slandering him, thinking that Jimmy was involved with CP somehow, and then she put what she thought was CP in her YouTube thumbnail. Like, I don't even think that you need to be a Mr. Beast glazer to realize that this woman is, like, just a little obsessed. That you need to be a Mr.
What?
Mr. Beast Glazer to realize that this woman.
Yeah, okay, another side rant. Is Ava not in, like, federal prison yet? Because, like, with all the shit he said, lock him up. Lock him up forever. Bro, like, some of the tweets he said... Ugh. Like, what? Like, what was that? Like, okay. Yeah. Chris is related to Mr. Beast in the sense of, like, their channel. Do I think it's a little weird? Kind of. But, like, there isn't really much evidence to prove that Mr. Beast was, like, in with him on that stuff. Although, if I was his friend, I probably wouldn't be his friend anymore. You know what I mean? I mean, he's not, obviously, anymore. I would assume he's not. Because, like, if I found out my friend was a PDF file, I would, He did it! Yeah, I'll immediately testify against them.
Woman is like she's a little obsessed, just a little bit obsessed. Now the Rolling Stone also made an article recently talking about the behind the scenes of Beast Games, and they said that the crew members spoke with them about the conditions of them working there, and according to them, 7 people who worked on the show told Rolling Stone that production was wild and disorganized. During a record rainstorm in August, one production assistant said workers were told to keep working with piles of electrical equipment literally submerged under the water. Another 2 crew members told
See, but then I think that's cap. Because people just like to lie. That's the issue. People like to lie about that kind of stuff so they can get money.
Rolling Stone that during a 90-degree heat wave, the warehouse they were working in turned off air conditioning and fans during certain challenges because they didn't want to interfere with the atmosphere of filming, and the conditions were not ideal. Crew members also suffered injuries on set, according to multiple crew members who spoke with Rolling Stone, who had heard about the incident from those present, including one who was on set when it happened on September 11th. A 6-by-6-foot piece of the exterior of the tower fell on a crew member while the set was being packed away. The crew member was injured and rushed off to the hospital. He was on the ground until the ambulance showed up, one PA says. It just nailed the dude, and he was just walking by underneath and not under a part of the tower that they were actively working on at that time. Now, several of the actual contestants have also come out and made YouTube videos of their own talking about their experiences. One contestant talked about how they gave the crew 3 pairs of fresh underwear that they were able to change into whenever they wanted, but because there were so many of them, it got messy and hard to do so everyone ended up smelling apparently and having shit flaked underwear, or as I call it, beast flakes.
And then there was
Oh my god. How long were they there for? That's the thing, though. Like, how long were the contestants there? Because they just had to do the challenges. But, like, how many episodes are there to it? Because I feel like you're not going to be there for, like, a week. And, bro, you know, not to sound gross, but, bro, I could wear these same underwear for 3 days in a row and then change out of them. Now, I don't know if that's because I wipe well and I wash my, you know, my behind, but, like, I don't know, like, I don't get how you could just, like, be like, yeah, we need, like, 7 pairs of underwear, 1 for each day. Like, bro, give me a break.
It was the clean underwear situation. Also, just like the medication, everybody was supposed to put, I think, 3 to 5 of their undergarments inside of a plastic bag with your name on it, and when you wanted fresh underwear, they would give you fresh underwear if you went to the desk and you checked in with them. But when you have 2,000 people, or at this point, 1,600 people, it's still very hectic, and that's a lot of people to manage. So throughout our time there at Allegiant Stadium, we did not shower. They gave us some deodorant wipes and toothbrushes. So yeah, by the time you leave Allegiant Stadium, you stink. You stink so bad by the time you leave that stadium that you don't even realize that you stink, because everybody...
Well, how long were they there? Like, how long were they there? Bro, because going, like, and this is about to sound nasty, but, like, I could go 3 days without a shower and not stink. Now, whether or not that's because I'm doing, like, well, see, but they are doing a bunch of activities. That's the thing. They're doing challenges. So, like, you're gonna start sweating. Ooh. Stinky. Yeah, you do get stinky. So, like, if they're there for, like, a week, I can understand. Because, like, then things would definitely get chaotic. Why is stream lagging? Yo, I don't know if YouTube is just gonna be blessed because they don't have to deal with this lag. But I'm, like, I actually gonna find some way. I gotta plug a LAN cable into this. Bro, because I'm gonna play some Valorant after this. I'm not playing. I'm not playing on stream because all I'm doing is literally reacting to a video, and my keeps going up, down, like, just, please, don't do anything.
Everybody around you stinks. Thus, your nose is just used to that crappy, musky smell.
Other contestants also talked about the food, and they described it as mostly edible.
And let me tell you, this food was mostly edible. The entire time that we were locked in that stadium, they only gave us 2 different meals. One of them was boiled chicken, undercooked quinoa, and a tiny amount of steamed vegetables, all put together in this like microwavable TV style dinner thing. And then the other meal was half a cup of cold oatmeal, a cold hard-boiled egg, and then a tiny amount of vegetables that was also cold. And we never knew which.
See, but like, that's such a didn't mean to do that. Okay, well, now that we're here, that's such a specific, like, I don't understand why those things. Like, boiled chicken, some quinoa. Bro, like, why not, like, anything else? It makes no sense to me.
one we were gonna get. Sometimes it was the boiled chicken one, and sometimes it was the cold oatmeal one.
Overall, though, while still having a few negatives, most of the contestants that I've seen made videos saying that their experiences overall were a pretty positive thing, even if it was obviously a tough time. In the comment section of one video, one commenter said, "I've seen a bunch of videos where the contestant complained about the food, but they were flown in for free and had to attend to 2,000 people, so you get $2,000 if you decide to leave, and honestly, for $5 million, I still think it's worth it." And this contestant said it was worth it. The food was crappy and the show was intense, but I had a ton of fun, made new friends, and the crew was great. I'm not complaining. I'm just sharing the intensity of my experience and trying to add a little lighthearted humor. I would go back in a heartbeat. At the end of the day, it's going to be a little while before...
Bro, because that's another thing. It's $5 million. Like, let me look at you up close in those eyes of yours. Just kidding. I don't care what your eyes look like. I don't even know why I'll probably cut that out. It's $5 million. 5. Not 1. Not 2. Not even 4. And even though I skipped over 3, we could just say, not 3. 5. $5 million. You really think that people will do anything for 20 bucks? You hand a homeless guy 20 bucks? I ain't even gonna say what'll happen. You give a man an opportunity getting $5 million? That's set for life money if you invest it right. People do anything for that. So, to the people complaining, you're only complaining because you didn't win. That's why you're complaining. You're complaining because you lost, like the loser you are. And you should never, ever, ever go back to the Beast Games. Because you're a I'm just kidding. I'm gonna say that right now. I'm just kidding. You're not a loser. Okay? I respect you for going on the Beast Games, because I wouldn't do that, because I probably would know I would lose. Especially because there's adults there. But you get my point, okay? It's $5 million. Of course people are gonna do it. So to complain and say, oh yeah, the conditions were horrible. People will do a lot worse for $5 million. Okay, I'm gonna say that.
Before we find out if any of this stuff on set even actually happened, because we have not seen direct proof of it. Obviously, we've heard a lot of reports, and with so many reports, I'm somewhat inclined to think that some of it is probably true, but whether or not it's Mr. Beast's fault, whether or not it's the production staff's fault, whether or not it's Amazon's fault, it's hard for me to say. If I had to guess, some of these issues, if they did happen, are probably a convergence of all these different factors. It's partially the fact that there were 2,000 people. It's probably partially the fact that they were somewhat understaffed. It's probably partially the fact that it was just a giant scale of a thing to even do in the first place, and it's probably also partially the fact that someone along the line f***ed up. And as far as who,
like 2,000 people, like 2,000 people, that's a lot of people. Like that, like just seeing it back on screen. So like obviously it's gonna be chaotic. I don't know. I don't know what to think of this situation. I think a lot of people either just blow stuff out of proportion, lie, because like I feel like the people that are telling the truth are probably the people that aren't going as aggressive on it. Because, like, if I was to tell the truth, I wouldn't just be like, the food was horrible, the environment was horrible, the production team was nasty, No, I would be like, yeah, well, I'd go into detail as to why. And, like, even the details that they give are so weird. Like, an extreme. Like, when people get into the extremes of, like, yeah, some guy broke his leg, and, like, some guy got shocked by electricity because the production team wasn't allowed to go home. Like, really? You expect me to believe that? You expect me... Like, and yeah, if it is true, right, I don't want to be proven wrong and seem like an a-hole. But, like, I don't know. I tend to be skeptical when it comes to stuff like that.
Who you want to place that responsibility onto, it's ultimately up to you. After watching the first episode, the show is really just a Mr. Beast video with a lot more money. It's not like, you know, super impressive narratively driven. It's not super impressive from like an acting or, I don't know, drama perspective. It's really just like a Mr. Beast video that they put on Amazon Prime, and they gave him $100 million to do it so he can do anything he wants. That's really what it is. And it is impressive, and it is cool, but I do have a feeling that I think that this show overall, when a lot of people outside of YouTube who don't know a lot about it see this show, they might have a slightly negative impression of YouTubers from it, not really because of the allegations that have been made about Mr. Beast, but instead just because it's like, you know, it's quote-unquote slop, right? It's like the highest budget slop you can possibly do. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that, but that is kind of what it is, you know? It's popcorn, and there's a reason why it sells, there's a reason why it's so successful, there's a reason why Mr. Beast is the most popular YouTuber in the world, because this is what the average person wants to see. So, you know, while I take my high IQ and dedicate it to watching Rick and Morty, or maybe Bob's Burgers, or I don't know, something else that's gay, a lot of people are going to watch this show, and ultimately they're not really going to care about the controversy.
It does not take a smart person to watch Rick and Morty. It does not. Rick and Morty is like baseline, just like multiversal theory, whatever. I don't want to get into it talking about Rick and Morty.
I've seen a lot of YouTube thumbnails like Mr. Beast's show is a disaster, Mr. Beast's show is over, everybody hates.
Yeah, okay, I'm not gonna roast anyone. I actually really like More Pegasus, but he's also a victim of this, bro. Mr. Beast do show is getting destroyed by the internet, and then like the most basic ass thumbnail, bro. Like,
hates it, but ultimately
I've just seen too many of that, bro. I've just seen
the reviews of critics in regards to YouTube stuff don't really matter. I don't think it's going to matter in the long term. The show clearly has been successful. It will probably continue to be successful, and you know what? At this point, I think Mr. Beast might be a little too big to fail. Whether you love him, whether you hate him, he is getting it done. Hopefully along the way, everyone gets their insulin injections, though. Now, if you'd excuse me, I have to go play my own version of Beast Games.
I'm coming!
Oh. Goodbye.
Alright, W video. I really like this guy. What was his name again? Yeah, Tom Dark. Go make sure to subscribe to him. Make sure to like his content. I watch his content a decent amount. He's a pretty good YouTuber. I'm kidding. You know, I obviously suck when it comes to content creation, but if you guys did like this video, because I'm going to be posting this on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that wonderful stuff. Yeah, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out, YouTube gang.